camera. Okay. I think that we are going. I'm a little lost. What are we doing?
Working on a bat language.
Ooh! Hey, all right. Oh, well, I suppose that didn't make it so far east, did it, there, George? Hello, everybody, and welcome to LangTime Studio, episode 829. Just kidding.
I momentarily was like, wait, what?
Season 8, episode 29. So, but we have had like over 200 episodes of this, huh?
I mean, surely?
Yeah. 30 times
50
8.
weeks, about 50 times a year.
Yeah.
Because we take some time off. So let's say 45 to be safe.
Yeah.
But we have been doing it for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's a lot of hours.
It sure is.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Yes, indeed.
I 100% read Madeline's message as I'm only here for Brie Fly. Like a fly that likes Brie a lot. And I was trying to imagine if maybe you don't get fruit flies there, you get Brie flies there.
Maybe in France. The deadly brie fly. Let's see.
All
right. What are we doing, Jess? Oh.
I said we're working on a bat language.
Okay, hold on a sec. This is... The fact that my hair doesn't look the way I think it should on screen has just got me all discombobulated. It's thrown me off. And there was something that we needed to share. Oh yeah, a recent discovery because it had happened over between two streams, but that we learned that there's an old American expression that to have an afternoon in Baltimore means to pass an enjoyable time.
That's right. I do remember that now.
That says more about you than it does about me, Jake.
Oh, my.
Anyway, all right.
Well, he did have a haircut.
I did.
And it's been since last time that you got the haircut.
Yeah, it's been since last time, and I thought it looked better. I think it does look better, but I don't know. This ain't it. This ain't it. But that's why you get it a little bit early, because we've got, I would say another 2, how many days? 10 plus 6, 16 days until... SpecCon. June 6th, Dublin, Ireland. We look forward to seeing every single person in the chat there. Every single one. And yeah, if for some reason you haven't secured your ticket, it is still available from speccon.org.
Did you know that mirror in Italian is specchio?
Oh, SPECCHIO?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I did not know that.
And so now SpecCon makes me think of specchio.
Ooh, specchio, like that. Anyway, Thank you, Patrick. Not enough to get you mod status, but thank you, Patrick. Nice Futurama reference. Well done, Mateus. Okay. Spectacular.
Yoo-hoo!
Okay, what? I don't know. I'm just kind of spacey.
I mean, we had a poll that got unpolled and repolled.
Right. That's what we need to discuss. So, for those that are actually members of our Patreon, there are different levels. And at the highest level, you get a weekly PDF of whatever document we're working on. And this is usually something that happens right after the stream. You know, we finish the stream and it's just low hanging fruit. It's really easy. I just make a PDF of the document and I put it up. The last document took a long time because I spent a long time adding as many of these verb tables as I could with verbs that we had, filling out the entire chart. And then, there are a lot. And then adding those verbs to our dictionary. And so now we have a lot of verbs in the dictionary. Not all the ones that we've created, but a lot, which is exciting. But in doing this, I learned a lot about this language that we've been creating. A whole lot. Discovered many things. Among the things that we discovered, first of all, was that we really don't have, at present, we do not have any pressing need to specify adjectives as a lexical class, as a distinct lexical class in this language. At present. We may yet find need for some adjectives that are truly adjectives and not demonstratives that can't be verbs, and in that instance, then perhaps we will have an argument for adjectives as a distinct lexical class. But otherwise, anything that is an adjective really can freely be a verb, and anything that is a verb can freely be an adjective in the form of a participle. And so this means a couple of things. One, it's really nice. We don't have to do any extra chicanery when it comes to creating nominalizations either for verbs or for adjectives. So the ing gerund form of the verb serves well enough as a nominalization, and we have that in both active and passive. So for example, usara is tossing, and ga usara would be being tossed. And the same would also work for adjectives, though it's not coming to mind exactly what the passive would mean in that instance. We might have to think about that, what passives would mean for stative verbs, if it would be anything at all. If it would automatically imply causation, but then, well, actually, though, Jesse raised an interesting point about how verbs work last week. We had decided on it, then forgot about it. We might actually be able to have automatic causation with our verbs depending on how we mark arguments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the way, you've been tippity-tapping away over there.
Sorry, there was...
Is it for LangTime reasons or for non-LangTime reasons?
No, it was something that, like, I just figured out how to say something that I had been typing, and I didn't want to lose it, so I typed it up.
Okay, good. All right.
Sorry.
That's fine. I didn't know if something like wild was happening in the comments.
No, there's nothing like being working on one project when another project suddenly speaks to you. I'm here now, though. No more.
Mirror comes from French, where it is miroir.
Yes.
Where that came from, I mean, it's probably related to the word that gives us in Spanish, mirar, which means to look. And, mirada, which is kind of like a vision or a vista or something, and hence the name of the nearby city, La Mirada.
As we all know.
Yeah.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Where does the name Miranda come from?
Miranda.
Is that like from looking?
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess Madeline James is going, so we can just end the stream early. There's no reason for us to be here.
Done. Oh, good. Now I can get back to that writing that I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So where was I? Okay. So that was. Oh my gosh, really? The Miranda from The Tempest was the very first Miranda?
Ooh.
Incredible. Wow.
Nice.
That's Prospero's daughter. Anyway, where was I? Something about verbs and adjectives and all of that. Yeah, something that it's going to be boring, but we should get back into that marking thing because I completely forgot about it. It's going to be just a simple discussion, reminding ourselves what we had decided and then writing it down in a way that makes sense because I don't think it's necessarily written down in this grammar, even though I know we decided it in a poll.
Marking for adjectives?
No, subject and object.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of have it written down, don't we? I mean, we have the little markers for on the noun side written down. I think the problem is, God, something must have just happened because of David's reaction. Do you want me to stop what I was saying?
This is pretty good. I just have to share this by Patrick. Authors have the right to coin new names for their characters. This is, of course, known as the famous Miranda right.
Nice. Patrick, that was...
Oh, by the way, sidebar on Miranda rights. They were something that started in the United States that didn't exist worldwide, but they became so commonly done in United States police shows that they started being done in police shows in other territories, like, in the UK and Australia and things like that. And from there, they actually started creating the local equivalent of Miranda rights, simply because people thought they already existed because of the TV shows. And when they found out they didn't, they were like, why not? So, not bad. I guess +1 for the propaganda shows.
Fire.
Anyway, okay, so can you go back to your train of thought or no? Or is it gone?
No, it was that we had marked functions, which are how, subjects and objects are marked. We had talked about them in the noun section. The problem, I think, and what you're coming back to is that we haven't necessarily formally written anything up in the verb section about how changing the argument structure may change the core meaning of the verb.
Yeah, and something like that should probably be written into the definition of the verb. And so, in which case, I would have to revisit the lexicon and kind of beef up the verbal definitions.
I would say only where it's unexpected, where the subject is marked the way you think most subjects are going to be marked. It's like, okay, so it just follows status quo.
Yeah.
But if it requires a different argument structure, sort of like, marking specifically in a dictionary where like the dative is required for this direct object where you would normally get accusative, it'd be the same kind of thing. It's like, well, you need this argument structure.
Yeah. This is something that we do in our Chakobsa dictionary because a part of the generic verbal conjugation pattern of every single verb is a causative form. And so a lot of basic verbs are inherently intransitive, and the causative pair, like the English causative pair, would be formed with the causative mode, which wouldn't be a separate definition, and so you have to write it in there so that you remember and don't accidentally coin another word. Done that before. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
That was just me trying to think of one.
I can think of one.
Oh, by the way, my sister is here playing Hollow Knight. I wish I could
will
be
take-
watching.
I will take videos of you.
I
but
mean, it could be up on the
You-
screen right
you're,
now with the
you're
volume.
already
You've
not,
got-
you're
you've
already
got
not
2
locked
hours.
in right now, so I don't want to contribute to that.
Brother. All right. So anyway, the whole point of this is that was the part about the adjectives and stative verbs, right? What I additionally discovered was a couple anomalous things.
Jonathan wants you to know this is as locked in as we get.
I know, I saw when you did.
You're watching.
locked in.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So Kobe says hi to you, Natalie.
Hello.
Oh, and Matisse, whom you've actually met.
I'm trying to respond.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yup.
Oh, Patrick, Jake, everybody's saying hi. Woo!
Oh my God, Kobe.
Yeah, I was gonna
Of
say
course.
Kobe was at KobeCon too.
Yeah. That's right.
I was trying to think that. it was
KobeCon
like,
2, otherwise known as KobeCon. Because-
KobeCon,
because
yes,
Kobe was
because
there.
Kobe was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Kobe made it.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, no, I am not teaching classes at UCLA. What a delight to be able to teach classes at UCLA. How I love driving the 405 up to Westwood at any hour of the day other than 3 a.m. What a delight that is.
You were in the middle of saying something about Chakopsa and
Yeah.
verbs, and then you got on the making mistakes, and now we're here.
Yeah. Jonathan, it's not KobeCon 1 until there's a KobeCon 2. So it remains to be seen. I discovered a couple of things. One, in an element that was eerily similar to another language that we're working on, that we can't tell you about. But there is this language that has a certain class of suffixes, no, I'm sorry. There's a class where basically almost every single, well, certainly every stop undergoes lenition intervocalically. But they don't do that in front of certain prefixes, and they happen to be subject agreement prefixes. So there's a subject agreement prefix. If there's a stop that follows it, it never undergoes lenition no matter what. And that is kind of eerily similar to what we have here. Our stops undergo lenition intervocalically unless, trying to find a stop that would undergo lenition. Here we go. Unless they're in the imperfective. So you see this little A prefix, A, right? You would expect that T to become a D, but it doesn't. It never does. We intended this because this prefix was added very, very late. If you've ever read Joan Bybee's The Evolution of Grammar, one of the pathways of one of the pathways of grammaticalization for the imperfective is that it's essentially created by contrast. In other words, you don't start out with an imperfective. You start out by defining the first thing that's different. For example, a perfective, right? And then the imperfective ends up being coined late as a result of comparison to something else. And so that's kind of what happened with the weird evolution of our How am I not supposed to laugh at this? You, you could just
This is incredible.
You could just put your back to it.
Do
Incredible.
you want to finish your sentence, or do you want to say why we're all laughing?
Sorry, go on.
All right.
Not even here.
Yeah.
You're not
Amazing.
sliding across the floor.
Amazing.
Not even here.
Okay, so the bizarre pathway of grammaticalization for our aspects is that the kind of very first thing to happen was, of all things, the prospective.
Yes.
In other words, it's not, I hate to do this because in this very same book, Joan Bybee rails against the category of irrealis. But essentially, that is what happened. The perspective was kind of like, has it happened yet? Is it a part of the real world yet? If the answer is no, then you use the perspective. So that was kind of like the first aspect that we created, the perspective. And so it was very old.
You know, instead of saying that it's part of the contentious irrealis world, you could almost think of it as a different sort of evidential marker. Like it's happened and I know it's happened. Or, well, maybe it's happened. Maybe it could happen. Maybe, like it's saying there's something special about this because I can't tell you if it has happened yet. But it's sort of weird because it's more like, I think it's going to happen.
And it's interesting to look at it that way because, of course, given the lexical source, it's like it's a pretty motion-based, what do you call it, metaphor?
Yeah.
Because it's from flap, right? You're flapping to do something, right? Anyway.
Well, yeah, the air is being stirred up. You have reason to think this is going to happen, but it hasn't yet.
Yeah.
And so
it's flapping to happen.
It's flapping. We're flapping to do something big in this language today.
Yeah. Okay. So then there was like, will it happen at some point in time in the future? Or is it a part of the real world, right? And then the next thing to happen was an outgrowth of the case system. So if you are at something and the thing that you're at is a verb, incidentally, the whole verb to gerund thing really makes this easier to sell. So like if you're at eating, then it's like, could be like something that you do a lot, right? And so that is where the habitual came from. And so then we had a regular, a perspective, and the habitual. Then from that, we derived the perfective, and by contrast, an imperfective.
Yes.
Which derived from a gerund. And so that just left the bare form only as an imperative. It's very strange, but I like it, and I kind of get it now.
But I don't think it's necessarily so strange in that you don't have to have an unmarked form. That plays a lot of roles in a grammar. Just because it does often, I think it would be weird to have the unmarked form doing something like, oh, it's the evidential marker. Like it's, it would be weird to have an unmarked form doing some job that doesn't happen very often and isn't big. But like if everything is marked, then it's just that over time speakers found reason to mark them all. Yeah.
Anyway, so one of the key things I'd like to draw your attention to, especially with this verb form right here, if you look at what happens to T, with the perspective, you see that it's voicing to D intervocalically. You also see that there is a kind of lenition that happens with the habitual where the T becomes a click because of a preceding nasal in the habitual. And these are the two oldest forms, right? Then you'll notice that this D that you see in the habitual does not lenite intervocalically in the perfective, the same way that the T does not lenite in the imperfective. So that tags these two inflections as modern, right? There's some clear divide in the verbal paradigm where it's like, okay, there's a point where the lenition stopped happening intervocalically. Okay. So I noticed some anomalies. The first one was that before a vowel, we get W with this e prefix.
Mm-hmm.
The W is the lenition of B, because that's what ultimately this comes from. It comes from a word that was I prenasalized B, so imb, right?
Right.
And that became ew.
And we isolated that change happened around 16. Was that correct?
13, I thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.
Anyway, so it's like this is a modern prefix, but it's picking up the W before vowels instead of the B. And so it's like, okay, whatever. It's a little weird that was, this is a modern prefix, but it has the old lenition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had our recent poll vote, going back to Toad here, where we decided that the D would lenite before the participle suffixes, the adjectival suffixes. Remember, the participles are formed with the regular adjectival suffixes. And the fact that these are regular, the fact that you get a consistent form after a vowel and after a consonant suggests, and of course we as the creators are also suggesting that these are modern suffixes, not older suffixes.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, we had, so not the previous week, but the one before that, we had a vote about lenition for stops, the 3 voice stops and the 2 voiceless stops, when these suffixes were applied, when these regular suffixes were applied. This time around, I asked us to rethink that because of what I discovered as I was entering all this stuff. So, to kind of go over that, here's the poll. All right. This is what is at stake. So we're looking at participles, right? So if with something like meme, which is furry, mima would just be furry, mimie would be furry. The first one in the night class, second one in the day class. That's regular and easy. The one that's at stake is this one. So if you have ngob, which is like to fall, right? The participle is going to be falling. And so it's either going to be ngoba or ngowa or ngobie or ngowie, depending on if this lenition happens. So, first, something that suggests, and the poll, right? We said it was going to be the W. We said it was going to be the W. We said it was going to light. All right. Part of the reason we did this is because we said nowhere else that stops appear would it ever lenite. And of course, this is not true. I just showed you where it's not true. It's with this a prefix, like, a, tod, right? The T doesn't lenite. Same thing with here, with to land, it doesn't lenite. And so it's like in the same word, you have like, so kit is to land, same with tod, right? In the very same word, you have a stop that is leniting in between vowels, perhaps contrary to expectations, and a stop that isn't leniting between vowels. Again, either contrary to or in accordance with expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It's very confusing, especially if you think about how we're going to have to spell this. So that was one aspect. And also, we have the protoform issue. So the day class is actually HI, which becomes EA. H disappears next to a consonant because all glottal forms disappear next to a consonant. So in fact, it even suggests a spelling right there. You just spell that HI or HIE, depending on how we do it, and everybody would know by the orthography that the B is not supposed to lenite. So, but there were points in its favor. There is the weird thing with W. I don't know if we have to revisit the W. And there's the fact that the night class suffix is ra, right? It's not H or glottal stop. It's an R. So when it's added as just an A, we'll have to spell it as either H, A, or glottal stop A, and this will be an irregular thing to do, basically to let people know that the stop doesn't lenite.
Mm.
Okay. So that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing. And basically, this wasn't like us undoing the poll. This was giving you all the information.
To say we didn't necessarily give a
Yeah.
full picture the first time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with all the information at hand, what did you think? So,
And what did they think?
well, at first, it looked like it was going to be a clean sweep for keeping the poll as it was.
And then
Huge swing the other way.
huge enough to disrupt the whole system?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Clean sweep the other way. Basically, the keep the poll results voted early.
Mm-hmm.
The keep poll results crowd voted early, and the overturn poll results crowd voted late.
They know what's up.
Yeah, they do.
They know how to get a mutiny.
And so,
Okay.
there you have it. Sorry, that was a lot of preamble, and a lot less chatter. I know that people really are here primarily for the chatter, and so I apologize.
Oh, also during all that, I found out, and I looked it up because I was like, oh, did that come out? George released a new video. So Con Langery, there's another book review video out now. And so I've got that pulled up to watch later this evening.
Yep. Whew. Okay.
So that was going on in chat. Some other stuff was going on, like Daniela's cooking salmon.
Ooh.
Daniela's
you know.
cooking salmon?
Yeah, just so you know.
Give us the deets on that. I want to know how you do your salmon.
and Mateus is secretly the puppet master of many things, I think, is what the long of the short of some of that discussion was.
Got it. And let me see if I have this right, because I have Mateus pegged as a pro salmon guy.
Oh, I feel that would be, if not absolutely true, close to being true.
Okay.
And then Kristen, yeah, it was your comment that alerted me to the fact that the video is released and out there, and so I'm really happy that you were able to watch it already and enjoyed it. So yeah.
I was taking a look over at Newly Teas. I thought
And
I was going to be looking at a photo of salmon.
no,
Guess I
it was
wasn't.
just in comments. I don't know that Danielle took a picture of it.
No.
And Mateus loves salmon. Excellent. So my
Nice.
worldview doesn't have to be upended like the poll results do.
Nice.
And no, David has never taught at UCLA. He has, and we both have together spoken at UCLA to the students,
Yeah.
like to the linguistics club that's there. But no, it's never been a teaching situation.
Yeah. In fact, in terms of if you're talking about linguistics, this was, this information may be 20 years out of date, so just, keep it in mind. But traditionally, in terms of its philosophical bent, UCLA was always MIT West. So places like Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Santa Cruz, and you could even throw in UC Santa Barbara and UC Davis were kind of the anti-Chomsky faction of linguistics. And UCLA was the big, Stanford, I should throw Stanford in too, but UCLA was the big holdout. UCLA was the super pro-Chomsky, big syntax university. And put their primary focus there. I don't know if that's still true. I will also say, though, that both Berkeley and UCLA had very strong phonetics traditions. My professor, John O'Hala, was taught by UCLA's professor, Peter Ladefoged, both of whom were really big names in phonetics. So kind of depends on what you're interested in. And then, of course, just to keep up to date on things. I really wonder where you got that information, though. For undergrad, I did get into UCLA. I chose Berkeley over it. Don't regret it. My cousin went to UCLA. And I once stayed at his apartment, his 2-bedroom apartment that he shared with 5 other guys, when I gave a talk at UCLA the following morning.
This was a cousin?
Yeah. Kent.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry, if I had said nephew, would you have gotten that?
Yes, I would have actually.
One of the many mistakes
I-
he's making in his life.
I would have absolutely gotten it.
Mm. Yeah, that was.
I was on the wrong family tree for a second.
You know, the magnitude of the mistake is worse when you don't realize it, and when you do realize it, you're horribly embarrassed. Then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that was probably one of the bigger ones in my life.
Well, now you got to tell the story because I know some people have probably heard it, but
it's
not
true.
everybody.
Yeah, so my cousin, very important word there. My
Cousin.
cousin Derek got married and asked me to be the officiant, which I was grateful and over the moon to do because it's something I'd always wanted to do. I'd always wanted to officiate a wedding. I spent a lot of time like preparing what I was going to say. I actually wrote it out, even translated it into Spanish for Derek's bride's family, who were some of whom were from Peru. Wrote it all out, and at the very beginning, you know, because I, you know, for a wedding, you know, many times some sort of religious official is an officiant, and so if they're not, you know, you want to explain why you're doing it, and so. You know, I wrote, double-checked, triple-checked, and then read out to everybody, you know, as I introduced myself, that I was Derek's uncle.
Yeah.
And looking back,
That was a big one.
like, Derek reacted to this in the moment. Like, you know, as he and Michelle were standing up there, he was like, and like, I saw the reaction, and I was thinking, I don't remember there being a joke here. So like, I just kept going, but I was like, what's he reacting to? Like, did I do something? Did I do something funny with my face? Nothing. Anyway, continued on. The ceremony, I thought, went very well. They got married. They walked down the aisle, and everybody's getting up and getting ready to go to the reception. And like, first thing, Natalie comes up with one of my other cousins and says to me, she's like, okay, what was the deal with that joke? Like, we don't get it. As if like, I'm already going to know what this is. I'm like, what joke? And she's like, where you said you're Derek's uncle. I'm like, I was just explaining to everybody that why I was in because, and that was when I realized it. I was like, oh, humiliated. I was like, oh my God. Like I'd been spending the past week reviewing this thing over and over again, you know, making sure there were no typos, looking for every mistakes, going over the Spanish translation, gave the Spanish translation to a friend of mine to make sure that it was correct. And not once did I look at that and even think about it until Natalie brought it up. And that was how I became on that side of the family known as Unky Dave.
I will say it is, I find interesting and difficult to sometimes remember the correct terms of the family relationships when there's such an age difference between certain parts of your family tree. And so for me, like it's actually quite natural to think of you as an uncle to these cousins because there's an age difference.
Yeah.
And it's an age difference of such that if it were in my own family, it definitely would be a generation down, 6, 7, 6, 7.
There we go. There we go. Parlay just hit.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
I think that there's a reason that you accidentally inserted uncle in it. It's just,
Like honestly, I think the best argument you can give in terms of what happened in my brain was that maybe I thought like being some sort of older relation would lend it more authority, you know?
Yeah, uncle is
And it's like,
And your relationship is like kind of like an uncle.
kind of.
yeah. Because again,
Yeah.
it's
Like
the
a young uncle.
Yeah.
because again,
Yunkle.
it's
Yunkle.
a yunkle. Again, it's because of that slight age difference where it's like instead of hanging out necessarily as friends, you are often advice. You know, like you've got some life wisdom to share,
Yeah.
and I think
Every so often.
that
Yeah.
I mean you do hang out as friends, but you know, like
Yeah.
there's sort of that dynamic there. So I think there's a good reason that mistake was made. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Patrick, by the way, says brutal self-ownage. Like you probably should have moved and changed your name.
Yeah.
The thought crossed my mind.
No, you were horrified.
There wasn't any recovering because once
No.
I realized it was just like, oh my god. All right.
Well, and it had to be pointed out by Natalie, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think was the real kicker.
Okay, so because of the results of the poll, I'm going to have to go through and change some things. So, I don't know. Jesse, you want to chat with people while I go and undo all of these mistakes?
No.
Well, not mistakes, of
Okay.
course, you know.
First, does anything need to change on the lexergy, like the input words? We're still good. Because what you may notice, because right now lexergy is facing forward on the screen, so like this is what you're seeing in the live stream. You'll see that there's like a list of forms that are there with X's. These are like the separated out forms that will allow us to quickly, figure out all the different pieces we need for roots. And so I just want to make sure that that's good for moving forward with this, because I don't think we had planned on putting that a prefix in there.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I think we're fine.
And now we're saying that prefix is actually attached much later, right? Because the lenition no longer happens. Is that what we're saying?
You mean suffix, but yes.
It isn't the IMB prefix, the a or ew.
That never caused the lenition.
Well,
it was the suffix that caused the lenition.
the wa is lenited.
Okay, the wa. Now, okay, so that is an open question. That wasn't a part of the poll.
I thought that was part of this.
No, well, all right. Let's make it a part of it. If we're undoing the lenition for the suffix, should we undo that lenition as well, and turn it into an ib prefix as opposed to an ew prefix?
Because that prefix I thought was supposed to be attached after the adjective, the participial
It
adjective
is.
form had already been
Yeah.
formed, because that's what it's attaching to.
Yeah.
And so why would it ever be a W?
Why would it be?
Because that form put into lexergy just
you know
as
what?
is.
We're looking at Lexergy right now, aren't we? I'm so sorry. I've been doing things in the document, but let's see. Okay, yeah.
How does IMB come out? Just ib.
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 Yeah.
Okay, so like to me it makes more sense to say it's going to be ib before vowels and a before consonants.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going to, don't worry about that. That's just, okay. All right, then.
Okay, so
Do you want to go through these green tables and change the W's to B's then?
I can do that. One other quick question though. So these adjective suffixes
Yeah.
coming later, they need to come after the lenition. Is there, because if you recall in our chart or in our document where the sound changes are described, I was putting in like dividing lines where certain affixes have been joined. Should I need to move the
Well-
adjective one.
Theoretically, it actually doesn't matter. Because theoretically, the suffix for one of them is HI. And so
Okay.
because of that, the lenition never happens.
Okay.
The other one is a bit extraordinary because the suffix is RA.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're saying is that the R just kind of drops out.
Okay. And so it's reduced so that I can leave that little red adjectival and indexing affixes join here, but it doesn't necessarily mean
Yes.
anything anymore.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to go through the green tables and replace W's with B's. I went the wrong direction for the green tables. I'll find them. Okay. And these are in these forms. Oh, and I need to go back up to the prose section and change the prefix form there as well.
I suppose we could open things up and say if we want to make. No. I don't like that R being in there as the adjective after a consonant.
Then
Forget it.
No,
No.
it gets in the way, so they would drop it because it's in the way, David.
They're already flying. The bats would just drop it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Good. Okay. So.
They're flapping to do too many things in life to worry about that R.
All right. So I've done that in the green tables.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go through the lexicon and fix it.
And I'm going to go back up to where we talk about verbs. God, we have so many pages written on verbs.
Yeah.
It's kind of disorganized.
Yeah,
but it's
they're
like
really disorganized.
we've got a lot.
By the way, this is pretty cool. I just want to. We created a word. So is to screech. It comes from ins, but its gerund formed is Ngdák. Pretty cool, huh?
I do like that.
All right.
And that was and you had mentioned you just created that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was reading what was under the imperfective as you were saying that, and so I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
Oh, that's nice. So, yeah. Oh. I don't think that we need to list it. It's not a part of that lenition actually wasn't part of the verb. So this is good. This just makes it even easier to use these. Excellent.
Okay, I think I got. Okay, so you're fixing the lexicon. What do we need to do to the participle section?
Let me go look.
Under my lurge, if you recall.
I don't think that we. Okay, I didn't end up having to do anything to the lexicon, which is good. The relevant forms weren't listed. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. I got it. All right. So these now need to change. We can actually get rid of these. Yeah, we can get rid of these.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a
Boom.
beautiful little section.
I know. So we can get rid of those,
point out.
but these not.
Danielle has said that nuncle is a potential gender neutral term for, aunt, uncle, nuncle.
That's weird because that was the original form of that word.
Right. And that's what George had been saying, that it was like parsed. So it was nuncle and uncle, like napron and apron. Got misparsed over time. Anyway, but Magpie follows up with, I've heard pibbling, short for parent's sibling, pibbling, which at first I was like, that's awful. But now that I say it out loud, it's kind of cute. And how do you say that? Ovan? Alvan? A-U-V-A-N. Alvan? Ovan?
Oven?
Oven? But Magpie is saying one sounds terrible and the other is too obscure. Is the pibbling the terrible one that is kind of cute the more you say it? Patrick says it's the worst word I've ever seen. Yes, I agree, but say it out loud. Say it out loud, and do you suddenly change your mind? Oh, George was saying it was exactly not like napron. Okay, I needed to scroll up further. Thank you, Karis, for correcting that. I didn't scroll up all the way. I just saw that very bottom part. Pibbling sounds. Nice. Oh, well, it's hard to. Jonathan, is that pronounced uncle or ankle? Like, it's hard to change that initial vowel and hear anything other than uncle. Pibbling does sound young. You are correct. That is something. Alvan and Neef. Oh. You were correcting someone else on Knuckle. I see what happened. Okay. I really needed to scroll up further. Oh, to jump to conclusions when you don't fully read. It's like calling myself an uncle at a wedding. Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I wanted to also mention one other thing that I discovered.
I do like Neef. That is kind of cute.
There is, we had previously said that the tone would match for the perspective and the passive, just that it would regularize, but it really shouldn't. And but it does so in a very regular way. When the perspective has high tone, the passive has high tone. We're talking about this this syllable right there. So if it's nga, then this will be ka. When nga is low tone, when the perspective is low tone, this syllable will also have low tone if it happens to be a click. If, on the other hand, it's a stop, it's falling tone, and this has to do with low tones following ejectives. It raises it a little bit, and so it automatically becomes a falling tone rather than a low tone. And since that was such a regular phonological phenomenon in the language, we decided to keep it rather than railroading it and turning those into low tones. So that was that. Anyway, that brought us to where we are. We're good now. We're done. I'm just going to also correct a few example sentences that still have the W. So instead of ewucha, it's going to be ebucha. It's kind of batty, you know. It's got a B in it.
Miles is here.
Who? My Lurch?
Now wait, I thought I corrected all of them. Where are you finding these other instances of W to B? Where did I not scroll far enough again?
Examples in the perfective stratum epistemic and potential stratum deontic.
I don't even know what that means anymore. I didn't scroll enough in the comments, didn't scroll enough in the document. David, we have done something, and I need to celebrate doing something.
We did.
With the Copico.
I feel like we're in a good place now.
And Miles is here, so I have reason to celebrate.
Yeah. All right. Copico for you. Natalie, Copico? Yeah.
Woohoo! Copico all around the table. Hey.
Cheers. Sorry.
Cheers with your broken wrapper. Gosh. I'm over here waiting for my...
So sorry. Copico, official hard candy of my Lurge.
Okay.
I wish some of the Nathan Bree commenters were in your comment section.
Man, hold on a sec. No, yeah, that would be good. By the way, anybody listening know what we mean when we say Nathan and Bree? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know that Command H works. I'm going to try a Command H to see what happens. You know what? I'm going to open a document that doesn't matter in case it kills it. Command H, isn't it to hide?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not going to type that. So George, I don't now. Command F is find, which gives you a replace option in Macs. I don't think we can use H. That hides it.
It does?
Well, I don't want to do it in the middle of a stream.
Yeah, I don't want to do it either.
All right, I'll be brave. Are you ready? Yeah, it hid all of my pages. I have to reopen pages.
Dang. Nobody knows Nathan and Bree.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
All right, it kept everything in the right window though, so that's exciting. But it definitely it hid pages altogether when I hit Command H. So don't do that if you're searching for something.
Matthijs claims that his mother is more Dutch than he is.
You're right, Jonathan. It didn't close everything, but it did shut everything down and not shut everything down. Sorry. It all disappeared from view, which is very handy when you need it to disappear from view when you're like, I don't know, working on a gift and the person you're working on it for comes in the room. And so you want to Command H it away. That's very handy. It's not handy when you're in the middle of a stream and suddenly you're like, oh, wait, all my documents. Danielle posted a salmon picture.
All right, here we go. We also getting a recipe?
Alt Command F. No. Control Command F? No.
Matthijs says that his newly teased photos are color corrected. Interesting.
So Karis, Alt Command F
that
does
salmon looks
nothing on my computer. Command F brings up the find, which gives you an option where you can do replace if you want. But yeah, the Alt does nothing. I have tried several times.
Check out the salmon dish.
Looks good.
Yeah, well done.
Windows plus H is text to speech. Look at that. All these little differences. Fun little keystroke differences that you never think about until you try.
Oh, we want to start doing text to speech for our streams. Or speech to text.
I'm going. Ooh, that does look good. Okay, I'm caught up now. Nobody put the little chef on there yet.
Oh,
There's
that's
the
my
little
bad.
chef.
That is my bad. I can't believe I didn't do that.
I'll respond with a picture of the salmon bowl that we had earlier this week. There we go. I've responded with another newly teased photo.
There we go. And there's the little chef.
Now, David, are we ready to do real work?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's go to that verb section and figure that whole thing out. So, where is that thing?
You're scrolling through pages of it.
I want to make sure, yeah, we're going.
It starts, verb starts at the bottom of page 15 and goes to the top of page 23.
Yeah, but you know the thing I mean. You know the thing I mean. The marking thing. Hold on, here we go. Used with goals, destinations, patient-like subjects, experiencers, and agents where the action of the verb is directed toward the agent. Okay. Is that just supposed to explain everything?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say we have a stative verb, meme, which means to be furry. I don't even know where to start writing this. But I believe...
I think in verbs we need a valency section.
Yeah.
Because this is I feel like in nouns that it's all well and good to say here's what the functions are, and it gives examples of how functions might be used outside of core marking where you want to indicate a location or something. But I think what we're talking about here specifically affects the meaning and structure of the verb, and so we need it as a valency.
Okay.
And yes, Mateus, I did make the salmon bowl that was posted.
All right. All right.
I have only recently discovered the term pantser in the world of writers. And I only know it, I discovered it recently because of the panels that were being offered at WorldCon. And I was like, what the heck is a pantser? And I had to go look it up. And I don't know if you are looking at me that way because you've never discovered it, or if you're looking at me that way because this is yet another word that you're going to say, really? You didn't know it? You know that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Bruh.
Ew.
Thank you. That's how I feel. All right, anyway. All right. No, I've only...
No, it's just because you said it.
Yeah. I've only heard this term in terms of the function of pulling somebody else's pants down.
That's what I had only associated it with,
Pantser,
which is
pantsy.
why
Yeah.
it was very weird to me that there were entire panels on "Are you a pantser?" Exactly. And I was like, this can't be what I'm thinking. There is a movement to kind of separate writers into different strategies so that way you can better connect with different methods that are being presented for, like, does this work for you, into planners and pantsers. You're either and let's just say Madeline is an extreme planner. She's an amazing planner.
So angry right now. Go ahead and finish.
Or you're more of what I would call a David, where you're like, I have an idea and I sit down and I write it. You may like kind of have plans, but like you go by the seat of your pants in the writing process. I would rather have Camp Madeline and Camp David. I would rather talk about it that way.
In the 2004 novel Timequake by Kurt Vonnegut, he created the terms swooper and basher, and I thought that was fine enough. And the and that is the swooper is somebody that just writes and writes and writes. It comes to them and they just go for it. Whereas the basher wants to make sure every single thing is correct before moving on. Anyway, so I don't think that we needed new terms. I don't like these new terms, and I refuse to use them.
I appreciate that, but when you see it, it's at least good to recognize it. I will never use that term myself.
Yeah.
But I do need to recognize it.
Kara says, aren't they reindeer that didn't make the cut?
Also, did you see Kobe's response from up top, like much before pantser? I barely know, hyphen. And
Nice.
yeah, that was good. It made me laugh. Okay. Right, Miles?
So, famously, and not only that, I'm going to throw this out. There are perhaps we're perhaps talking about four different things here. One is writing style, and the other is planning style, right? Because there's some people that take a lot of time to plan things out, and then there's sometimes that spend no time planning things out. And then in terms of writing, there's some people that write really, really, really quickly, just getting it out, and some that write really slowly. And I'm going to give you an example of one writer who writes very slowly and plans nothing, and that's Tom Robbins. Tom Robbins wrote a lot of really bizarre novels throughout the, I'm going to say, I think, early 80s all the way to the early 2000s. He was one of my favorite writers when I was younger. And I learned later that for Tom Robbins novels, the way that he writes, he sits down, he writes one sentence, he makes sure that the sentence is absolutely perfect, and when it is perfect, then he writes ending punctuation. And then he moves on to the next sentence. No plan for a novel, no plan for characters, nothing. It's just one sentence slowly at a time.
You can't tell me there's not a huge plan brewing in the mind. I don't believe it if you say otherwise. If it comes together in the end.
Having read most of his novels, and including the endings of those novels, I'm going to tell you, I believe that most of the time he has no plan. He has one novel that I think has a really good ending. The other ones, it's like, what? Not as in like, oh, that was surprising. It's like, oh, it's over now? Like there's just kind of had nothing. It was just like, well, it's done now. It's kind of unsatisfying. The one that I thought had the really, really fantastic ending was Skinny Legs and All. Really recommend that one. I think Skinny Legs and All is his best if you're just going to sit down and read a whole novel. Some of his most fun ones, I would say Jitterbug Perfume. Loved reading that one. And Half Asleep in Frog Pajamas was another fun read. And Jitterbug Perfume is it doesn't have necessarily the best ending, but it's kind of a better one, at least for him. Half Asleep in Frog Pajamas, no way. It's just like, what? Even Cowgirls Get the Blues is probably his most famous. It was made into a movie by Gus Van Sant, which starred Uma Thurman. It was apparently not very good. I thought Even Cowgirls Get the Blues was fine. And the oh my God, the Woodpecker book. What's it called? The Woodpecker book. That one was pretty good. And then another roadside
Still
attraction.
Life with Woodpecker.
Still Life with Woodpecker. That one I enjoyed more than another roadside attraction. Honestly, if I was going to put one at the bottom, it would either be another roadside attraction or Even Cowgirls Get the Blues. And perhaps the other one, the other new one. That one didn't. If he could take one back, I think it would be that one. This was the newer one. Oh gosh, what's the name of the newer one?
Villa Incognito?
Thank you. The Incognito. I'm not going to say they all hold up. But I'm just saying that was his writing style. And so you can both be a very slow writer and have no plan, and then also have a really, really extensive plan and write really fast, and then, of course, the other ends of it. Anyway. Oh, Laguna has arrived. Blanket kneading has commenced. Well done. Well done, Jonathan. What a cat, that Laguna. Laguna doesn't get enough praise, and Laguna gets a lot of praise. All right, we're going to do this. There are some words in English that can be one or the other, and so sometimes it feels a little strange. For example, like valence. Valence is enough, but I think valency is more common.
I need valency.
Yeah.
I-
We had this. We were watching little MSW last night, and there was, the
Stoical?
question was stoic versus stoical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out they're both licit and go way back to Middle English. Okay. Yeah, believe it or not, Jonathan. Yeah, I hadn't heard of stoical either, but yeah, it goes all the way back to Middle English. I think stoic is actually an adjectivalization of the noun a stoic. And Matthias can say that with authority because Matthias can understand English all the way back to 1100. This is something that I haven't looked at it, but this came up in the Discord. Apparently, there's like this thing that's like, how far back can you understand English?
Wait, there's like a quiz?
Yeah.
These birds are they're like very upset right now.
Better than the damn leaf blower this morning.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was bad. It was bad this morning.
But yeah.
Okay, but like I'm pulling up Discord now because I need to find this.
Yeah. Most people are saying they can understand English all the way back to 1300. Matthias says 1100. Matthias, the non-native English speaker.
Matthias is brilliant.
Yeah.
Is it in chat?
Is it in quotes and memes? Asking. Okay.
My God, there's so much here.
This is slightly complicated in Ngdák. Much of what is usually achieved.
My God. Oh, there we go. I found it.
Did you,
Oh my gosh.
Did you
The
just-
Dead Language
I'm
Society.
fine. I'm alive, but I just connected a part of the map. I guess. No
Nice.
way.
Ooh, but a good question is indeed, but how far back can you understand the jelly bean language? I would like to attach that question. Okay.
That's a very powerful statement that I want to hang on to by Kobe, just for in general in my life. I know you're not lying, but you are cheating. It's immediately. I mean, there's no rule against cheating. Love it. Can you imagine the flavors of a 1300s jelly bean? I'm imagining like, what flavor this jelly bean is. And then the answer is qualia.
Okay, so sorry. I shouldn't have opened Discord because now I'm looking at something on Discord that Miles responded with, and I think I am now seeing my first GIF, whatever you want to call it, of clavicular.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I think
Oh, no.
I think this is him.
Wow.
Do you want to
Don't.
look from the side? It's on my camera's here. That's
Oh.
clavicular?
Oh, yeah, that is.
Okay.
Don't look up the photo of him with the Chad Judge, or else I'll lose you to him.
What?
Okay, so
You're gonna lose me to the guy beating his face with a hammer?
listen, I didn't want to tell you this way, but clavicular got mogged, I'm afraid.
What is mogged? Oh my God, what's happening? Are you making things up?
No.
You're like way better off not knowing what any of these mean.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
when David says he thinks he found a mistake in a language, I just say, no, it's a mogging and it's fine. Because what the heck are we doing here? Like, you are throwing things at me
Yeah.
that you claim are English, and it's of this language that I know very well.
I know.
Who's to say in a conlang that speakers didn't decide this form is just so clavicular, I'm going to keep it?
Yeah. So I think it's actually kind of apropos that we recently watched Wild Wild Country, because
good documentary.
I think-
Docu-series.
I think that we've entered an era, at least in this country, where cultish behavior is flourishing, absolutely flourishing. And one of the ways that you develop, a cult is by creating vocabulary, like specifically creating vocabulary that immediately is unrecognizable to people. Anyway, so to explain it, to kind of ruin the fun of the joke, really, clavicular is the handle of a person who does incredibly bad things to their own body to look better.
Now, see, you're telling this to them, right? Because I know this.
Okay,
because,
you know this, right?
And I know this because of a conversation where Natalie had to teach it to me the other day because I had no idea what was happening.
Yes.
And I had to ask what an entire sentence meant because I literally couldn't follow it. Because to me, I'm thinking this is just an adjective describing your clavicle bones.
Right. And then, of course, this process is what is known as looksmaxing.
Which
This
is
term,
a
by the
whole
way,
new term that I learned about.
This term, by the way, had to have been influenced by something from gaming called min-maxing. And what min-maxing is, for example, giving you Stardew Valley, right? As an
Yes.
example, you can play the game for fun. Like, and we're just gonna look at farming, right? You can, and it just be like, well, it's spring. What can we plant in spring? Well, I want a little bit of everything, right? But there are certain crops where it's like, based on how long it takes you to grow them, how much they sell for, and how much you have to pay for the seeds, there is a best crop, right?
To get your best turnaround, to be able...
If you're just looking to make money. This is known as min-maxing. Basically going into a video game and figuring out what is the optimal thing to do to get a particular result.
Now, I don't care what anyone says. My favorite thing to plant are the things that reproduce, and I don't have to keep replanting.
Exactly.
Because you get those
Me
blueberry
too.
plants,
Uh-huh.
and you just get blueberries, which you can do great stuff with. That blueberry wine goes for a pretty penny.
Blueberries, cranberries, strawberries, love them. Anyway, so that's what min-maxing is.
I like that. So Mateus is saying that now, like, maxing is just its own little derivational suffix.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it has a double X in it, which it doesn't in min-maxing.
Yeah, and corn can grow for 2 seasons, so of course you want corn.
Yeah, I don't like how big it gets.
Oh, it is hard to see everything behind it, so I always plant it at the back side of my garden.
Yeah. Anyway, so
All that's...
all right.
Sorry, we can stop talking about
No,
the guy.
we're
I
not
don't...
there yet. We're not
No,
there
but
yet.
like we don't need to talk about that
Sure.
anymore.
Okay, so
I'm just talking about how new words...
now, yeah. Okay, so then mogging is basically kind of like beating someone in terms of looks. So it's like if you just look better than someone, then you have mocked them. I don't know where this term came from because at least in my experience, the only thing that I have heard mog from comes from specifically World of Warcraft, where you can transmog. This was a later feature of the game. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
So when you get armor in World of Warcraft and you put it on, it shows it, right?
Okay.
Later on, after people have been playing the games for years, right? Some people would just like the look of certain armor better than others, even if it wasn't best. And so they introduced a feature known as transmogging, which would allow you to wear a particular type of armor that looks like another one. And you have to like get it first, prove that you own it, so that you own like the transmog of it, and then you can go and like make yourself look however you want, even though your armor may be much better than what you're
Did
wearing.
my mind just totally futz out, or did you never say where mog originally came from?
From the word transmog, transmogrification.
But what's the mog?
Transmog is short for transmogrification. Mog is short for transmog.
But what is transmogrification?
Transmogrification is the term that they came up with in World of Warcraft for making your armor look like a different armor set.
So mogrify was there, like we don't want to modify it, we're going to mogrify it.
Transmogrification and transmogrify.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure that's an attested word. Like going back to like the 19th century. Yeah, transmogrification definitely existed. Yeah, it's an existing word.
Okay.
Now, that is my guess for where mog came from. But it does have...
People are giving other not good forms. I'd rather think that mog came from where David is saying. And yes, apparently transmogrification is... See, this is a brand new word to me. It is not a normal word, Karis. Don't patronize me like this.
Well,
it is a very weird word I've never heard.
I would say that when I saw the word transmogrify in World of Warcraft for the first time, it didn't throw me for a loop. I recognized it as something familiar. Anyway, that was my guess. There may be other guesses.
The cucumbers that
alpha
were
male of the
ultimately transmogrified into pickles.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is a sentence.
By the way, Natalie, they're saying that it might have come from alpha male of the group. Does that jive with your experience?
Hold on.
Amog?
I'm in trouble.
Oh, so in trouble over there for anyway. So yeah.
Thank you, Christian. I feel that support.
Right.
It's perfectly cromulent.
Your chat's probably more right than you about but whatever's going on.
Yeah.
That's my input.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, all right. So then mogging, right? You know, you kind of like
So back
you
to
beat
this.
somebody in terms of looks, right? So then
Here's
clavicular.
my theory.
Yeah.
Let's forget him for a second.
Okay.
I have a theory that
Poor Jonathan.
that one of the things that works about us is we both seem to think the other mogs the other.
No.
Like I think you mog me,
No.
and you always tell me I mog you.
Okay. Natalie's dying over here, but also
Like literally in the game.
but also like as that too, but like
I'm playing the crystal guy.
oh, the one that shoots?
Yeah.
There's a surprise with that one.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, I think an impartial jury there is going to return a verdict in terms of you and I and the mogging. Anyway, but so apparently clavicular had to go to court
helped
because he
Kobe.
shot an alligator?
I helped Kobe clear some sinuses.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Kobe.
I swear to God, he did worse. Like,
Yeah.
I remember, didn't he run over a guy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so there's this photo of the judge in the case, and the judge who is not somebody who's done any type of looks maxing, just is, I mean, kind of objectively way more better looking
gorgeous.
than him.
He's so good looking.
Incredible. And oddly enough, kind of close to this weird Chad meme, black and white Chad meme where the guy's obviously fake, but and so now
Oh, he is good looking. All
See?
right.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, I'm toast now.
No, I like you better. But no, like he's definitely
It's polite
better
of you, Jesse.
looking.
It's polite of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Very nice. Just
I know what I'm about.
Okay. We'll need to separate this discussion
Back to valency.
by verbs that are
Is that it, Mateus? Is
stated
it the cheekbones that
and
makes him better
non-stated.
looking than the other guy in the courtroom?
do a full evaluation.
Oh, wow. Mateus, in a very Dutch way, just said, the judge just has massive cheekbones. I don't find him hot, though. Kobe says, why do men want to look like bicycle seats?
Oh my god. Okay.
incredible.
Okay.
Entire,
Valency.
entire gender just defeated. All right.
Yes, let's max that valency. Can we use it that way?
So this is what I would like us to get. I want us to get an intransitive and transitive, very basic non-stative verb, and then a stative verb, because there's not going to be a basic transitive stative verb. Oh gosh, we're going to need so many different verbs. There's so much to explain here, but it's so economical and kind of easy and intuitive, I think. Anyway, what's the verb for sleep? Is it mora?
Yes, mora.
Okay. Start with, here is an intransitive non-stative verb.
And we do have a form, by the way, for the push/pull. Like, we do have that verb.
Okay.
So when we get there. My God. See, Juno, like 2 hours ago, your comment would have looked like you just smashed your keyboard to me. But now I can understand what you just wrote, I think. I can at least understand the realm of what you just wrote. I may not understand what exactly you're referring to, but like, I get it. Leaf blowers. Yes. The power of language right there. Yes. What are you? You just
Emorara. I believe it's emorara, right? Well, that is sleeping. Is that right?
I think so. Whoops, just a second. On the wrong screen. Let me go back to the table. Mora. Yes.
Okay, so emorara inwo. The bat is sleeping. Okay, we got that. What is the source of our E?
What E are you talking about? Are you talking about the prefix?
No, the marker.
The IMB?
No, the marker, the noun function
noun.
marker. I'm so sorry. E,
To go.
To go.
Yeah. Sorry, if I knew what you had
Okay.
originally been asking, I could have gotten there sooner.
All right. Okay. The lone argument of an intransitive verb always gets basic unmarked case. This includes stative verbs. I'm gonna just throw another one in, and this one is going to be. We have to use the habitual. So it's gonna be do, right? The bat is furry. I hope it's do meme.
Let me double, because I swear we have that sentence written. And so one moment, please. Meme. Oh, wait, that's a furry. The bat is furry. Domim ituo. Equal. Equal.
Ingual.
And domim.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Why was I suddenly where your thingy was? That wasn't where I was. Where am I?
I don't know. Did you follow me in the document?
I didn't mean to. Just happened. Okay. Valency, 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 valency.
What the hell?
Okay. Okay. So for
Kobe wants to know, did David just clickmog Jesse? I feel like my brain has expanded and filled with new knowledge in the past 10 minutes.
I don't know if expanded is the right word, but you have new knowledge for sure.
Then that means expansion. I don't feel like I've kicked other knowledge out in place of it. Not yet, anyway.
Well,
it's called brain maxing.
Yes. Slang maxing. There we go.
Nice. Incidentally, as we continue to develop Trigeta slang, like, new slang is still available for making into words in Trigeta slang up to the year 2040, I think.
And so for quite some time.
Yeah.
You got like 14 more years of being able to pull in vocab to make it more realistic for what it could have been in.
Yeah. So figure out how to get maxing in there or mock.
Or do you want to wait and see how it goes? Because if it falls so hard out of favor that
it's hard.
It becomes something you would mock someone for using, then you don't necessarily want to incorporate it as a lasting influence.
And that's really hard because then you get into a situation where there are words that are already being used by people in the Trigeta slang community, and you don't want to take them away. But there are some that
you're like,
there's some that might, could, oughta, shoulda be taken away.
I like that.
All right, for transitive verbs, the no, they're both core. The primary peripheral argument, because what I meant by non-core was the one that gets first marking. The primary peripheral argument is marked with E. The semantic role of that argument
is more patientive.
I'm going to say it's a tactic. Role of that argument varies. Semantically, E is associated more closely with patient or patientive arguments than the core argument. Examples where marking may differ, or where no. Examples where the syntactic role of E marked differs. Shown below. All right. So now we got to do this. Give me a standard verb that's just super standard, totally standard, makes all
other verbs cry in shame.
Yeah. Birthel.
It needs to be transitive. We do have We do have to toss, and I feel like as a verb, to toss, that one's going to, like, I feel like you would have to do something really marked to make it to where the one doing the tossing would be marked any differently than you would expect like a classic subject to be marked. So like that one is one where it's like I think it's pretty safe to say like here's the subject and here's the object.
Yeah.
And to do anything different, not ruling it out in the same way that like, you know, English, the whole I sneeze the napkin off the table thing can happen. You absolutely can do that, but like you understand that it's really marked in some way and you wouldn't just sneeze the napkin. You've got to have more going on. So
okay, so that's going to be ki do no sa in wo I, and then what was rock or pebble? Pebble is fine. It's kind of cute.
Kuhie. Kuhie.
Kuhie. All right, so I think that's right. We can check. Ki do no za I wo I kuhie.
Because the nouns never change shape, right? They just take these little particles in front of it and like we're done.
Yeah. Ki do no za.
And the unmarked argument is more likely to come first, right?
Oh, the unmarked argument always,
Okay, so yeah. No, that seems good.
Okay, now we need this is the tough one. We need another one where it's basically contrary to expectations.
Where it's backwards. Do you want to do the one that can go both ways while I think about?
Yeah, which one is that?
The push-pull. And that is I-C-A, high tone, I, and then E, ah. So high tone on the long E vowel, I, high tone. And then C, right. Low tone, A.
Okay, for certain verbs, changing the argument structure actually changes the meaning.
Wait.
The verb.
We had marked that fly would be followed by an unmarked subject, but a verb like fall would be marked by E. Like if the bat falls, it'd be ikira, or the squirrel, I guess.
Yes. That's going to have to be something we get to.
Okay. But like I just wanted to just throw that out. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I'm also going to throw out here, Jesse did do some drawings. So we can have our orthography poll that we discussed last week, this week. So don't anybody be worried about that. We've got the next poll settled.
The experiencer verbs we had noted would be backwards. So like you see the blank and then the goal is the person doing the seeing.
Okay, the bat saw a pebble, so that's going to be
I don't think we have a verb for to see yet, but
we
like
100% do.
We do?
Yep.
Oh my god, ahie.
Yep.
Ahie. Well, sorry, that's the participle form. No, it's also the full form. Ahie. Okay, yeah, that's the form.
Yeah, so make sure that it's ki don ahie.
Ki don ahie. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So ki don ahie. The bat saw a pebble, and so backwards. Good. For certain verbs, changing the argument structure actually changes the meaning of the verb itself.
Patrick, it's because YouTube is telling you to stop being mean to yourself. That's why your comments aren't showing up. And if Patrick means something in Trigger to slang, it would be something about quick, witty responses. Or something about blocking people accidentally.
No, but like the reason I brought that up is because we used SpongeBob. SpongeBob is a type of yellow in Trigger slang.
Okay.
So in like SpongeBob, be, or inste, no, in SpongeBob, that's how you would say it. In SpongeBob means that it's bright yellow, really bright yellow. And so if SpongeBob survived, then there's a chance that Patrick could survive. It's just a question. But it wouldn't, the source wouldn't be our Patrick, it would be Patrick from SpongeBob. The question is, what would it mean?
That's what, but see, YouTube didn't get the joke, much like your dear friend Jesse didn't get the joke. And so YouTube is like, you can't say that. See?
Yeah.
Man, me with the not reading the full context or not following on what's happening.
No, there's a word for regular yellow. SpongeBob is kind of like bright, garish yellow.
Patrick equals a total absence of moderation power. Yeah, so Christian, the live chat versus top chat thing really does make huge differences in cuts. And yeah, it is showing up in live chat, but top chat, it's like, no thanks. Yeah, David website yellow. For whatever reason, when we link to the chat to show, like what shows up in the YouTube video right now is that little chat window, it refuses to allow us to link to live chat. Like, we will open live chat, like change it to live chat, copy the link, put it in, and what you see is top chat. What we see on our computer screen, the exact link we've copied, is live chat. I don't know.
We need something that's also, Ira. Ira is it flying squirrel? I think Ira is flying squirrel and Ihe is ground squirrel.
Flying squirrel is the CIIRA. Ground squirrel is the CIKHIE.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh. So I actually don't know. I think I just came up with a really bad example. Yeah. I don't know if this idea of ours works.
Which idea?
About push-pull.
Oh, because if it's inanimate, either could be the pusher or the puller?
Yeah, I decided to make them both animate.
But why would you be pushing and pulling animate things?
I don't know.
And if you need to make it clear which way the direction is going, couldn't you throw in an adverb like away or closer?
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay.
Because
so
it's still the same.
This isn't a bad example. This is just, I'm sorry, this isn't a, we can still do the thing, just this is a bad example. Okay, so I got to have something inanimate. Okay. Something inanimate that would take pushing or pulling. Maybe larger than a pebble?
Indeed. What I had originally thought, hey, I'll look this up. It was like, nah. Oh, how are we marking nouns? Because the noun thing isn't working. Oh, I just need one in. Okay, I see what's happening. I was like, I know we have nouns. You can't really push or pull. Well, we have boulder.
Let's do boulder.
Boulder
Get
is
our Sisyphus in.
Kuola. So K, U high tone,
Kuola.
O low tone, LA.
Yeah, kuola. Okay. Kiitos niin. Ingo, ikola. That.
Otherwise,
Pushed.
most of our nouns are small or animate or abstract. One moment while I yell a question at Natalie. Are you leaving, Natalie?
Oh yeah, I just realized I'm getting called into work early.
Oh, okay. So you won't be able to take the mixer
Yeah.
right now. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there something else that I needed to give to Natalie? Something that she was supposed to take to my parents?
Well, I mean, they're gone, so anything they need, it can wait until
Yep.
the end of the weekend.
All right.
Cool. We'll
Good-
see you later.
Good to see you. Feel free to take a little treat with you or something.
I already did.
Yay!
You know, after a while, the word example starts looking fake. My word, they are angry.
Patrick, I will tell you my favorite thing that I did that showed up in the show, especially because of how it was delivered. Because, like, you never know what the situation is going to be when you translate something, right? And so there is this part where there is a convocation, and they are talking about deposing Wanheda, right? No. Who am I thinking of? You know, Octavia. They're talking about deposing Octavia. And so there's several people who represent, I don't know, the intelligentsia of, you know, the thinking fellows, the people in charge who are having this discussion. And so, you know, I knew this from the script, but you never know who's going to play it. And so basically there was a call for like translating something like I disagree with you, or or it's like I object to what you're saying. And for whatever reason, I thought, well, this should be basically, this should come from slow your roll down. And so it's slow you roll down, right? Slow you roll down, and then it's no hera no more, which is no hera no more, which is like depose the hera, right? And the guy they have saying this, he's like in his 60s. He's got a long gray beard. He's wearing a robe. And his delivery is perfect. It's like this Dumbledore-looking guy, and like, slow you roll down. No hera no more. And it's just, I died laughing when I saw this. I was like, I can't believe he actually said this. I can't believe this human being said this. It's hysterical. Anyway, I can't remember if that's season 4 or season 5. It's one of those two. It's worth looking up. Oh, man. There were so many things I was asked to translate for that show with, they wrote them like Shakespearean English, or like medieval, like faux medieval stuff. There were kings and queens and princes and princesses. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that doesn't seem to go with the vibe of
American show.
Anything.
It didn't fit, and so I was like having to figure out how this would work in Trig, and then I was still going to put the subtitles up like that, which seemed it was a choice anyway. So is this correct, Jess, what I have highlighted?
Okay, now let me go back to... You've got to be kidding. There we go. Pull is going to put the one doing the pulling in the E case, because it's coming closer to you. Push is going to be marking the object in the E case. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That seems to be what you have here.
Okay. This works, let's say, where the agency of the nouns in question is understood. When both arguments are of the same level of animacy, now flying squirrel, right?
Let me see what's typed. Cheetah. Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to say it as a C.
Okay.
I can't remember that clicks are written with regular letters in this romanization. Like my brain just, every time.
It gets a lot easier if you study something like Xhosa, which I did for a little bit. And then it's like you get more used to it.
The only representations I've seen of the language in terms of examples are all in IPA. And so, like, it very much, like, sets that apart. And you don't, necessarily have that issue. I think the C specifically is hard. I feel like the X is a little bit easier to remember, maybe, because it's not always used.
It's assumed unless there is a qualifying adverb which suggests one meaning or the other. Or which suggests the opposite meaning. Okay, and so now we don't have this vocabulary yet, but so this would be the flying squirrel. And so there's that, and then there's also like maybe close. And then this one would be the flying. The bat pulled the flying squirrel. And have I done that right?
Just a second. I was elsewhere in the document because I had been looking things up. It says you're there, but you are not there. My goodness. Okay, now okay. Because it's going to be pushed normally.
Yeah.
Pull is the, yeah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, because it's the flying squirrel. Yes. This is the difficulty of trying to think through something that's very different from the way your own language treats something. And using the same argument, like you're using the same, like...
Yeah.
So you're just having to turn words around that aren't super familiar with you. And so you're trying to go back and forth to make sure that, that's what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth to be like, wait, which one's the squirrel? Which one's the bat?
I suppose it doesn't help that they are similar looking.
They sure are.
Okay. Okay.
Do you think one is encroaching on the other's nest, or this bird is in distress out there? I wonder if there's a squirrel trying to get a little too close.
Okay, now, next, a further distinction is possible. uh, with marking for single arguments. Consider the following pairs of words. Okay, so now let's do the intentionality ones. Where was that?
When you say that, do you mean we had? The only place in the document intent shows up is to fall to the ground, most likely unintentionally.
Yes, that one.
That's ngob.
Oh, no, but the thing that we were talking about where one is like, you know, you fall intentionally and the other one is you dive on purpose. Remember? We talked about that, right?
Maybe we talked about it. We didn't write anything.
But wasn't that the point that you were just bringing up?
Was I?
I thought so. Where
No, the intransitive verb fall, we say that intransitive is not necessarily always an unmarked subject. When it's a more patientive subject, it has the E marking with it. So like fall versus fly, we have.
Oh, okay.
Like fall, E, and then the one falling, fly, and then just, you know, the one flying. However, I think you're right. If we do fall with without the E marker, it might be something that could mean like to descend rather than fall.
Okay. Did we happen to create a separate word that means dive already?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
But yeah, fall is ngob.
Okay, so then Gidongob is fell?
I don't know. Oh, here we go. Ki. Well, the perfective is just ki dongob.
Yep. Okay, good. The bat dove.
Ki dongob.
Intentionally. The bat fell or dove to the ground. Fell to the ground. Oh, okay.
We don't have to the ground. And wouldn't
Hang
to
on.
the ground.
Wait, now I'm remembering we said there were going to be entirely different verbs, one to fall intentionally and one not to fall intentionally.
Well, that's what I had thought, but then you had said, so I thought, well, that could work. So,
No, let's.
but it was like the dictionary entry specifically says, you know, intentionally or non-intentionally. I'm gonna be right back.
Should we have it be a case distinction?
I'm gonna think on that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Just gonna throw this out. For something like fall, should we have two different lexemes or have it be a case distinction? Two separate lexemes. Case distinction. And then separate ones for this in general. And separate ones for this plus case. The case distinction is exactly what you see right here, Jonathan. So this H also shows up as E. That's kind of a patientive. So in other words, like, so kidomo I is the bat like kind of fell intentionally. Yeah, I can get rid of to the ground. And whereas hit would be unintentionally, just like the bat kind of like fell down, you know? I think most of the time we use fall, it's the second one that we mean, but, you know, it could be, especially with an animal that flies a lot, you know? The third one, by the way, is that in general it's a case distinction, but for this particular lexical item, we have separate lexemes, just because falling is important to bats. That's what I meant. So in other words, so that you didn't have to vote against a case distinction if you liked it, but you liked the idea of there being separate lexemes.
Okay, so sorry. Can you catch me up?
A little bit, but we gotta go.
Yeah.
I was just having people vote. They do like the idea of the case distinction. So,
Well, it looks really close, though.
it does.
Like, the whole vote is very close.
It was.
Okay. I think, though, for this particular one, because this is, I feel like diving would be like something that bats do often enough, they would distinguish it.
Mm.
Whereas I could envision other actions that would not be as often, that like, or would be like so related that you could use it as a distinction.
So maybe this is just fell. I don't know. But it could be like fall and flying, but not like specifically diving.
Right.
Descend.
It could also be like, you know, like if they are goofy, like they're silly, cute little bats, and one is trying to like make the other laugh and they fall, but it's obvious that like they absolutely like did it, but they stumbled.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. It's just something to think about. We don't have to go that way, but anyway.
All right. Okie doke. Well, then let's call that it. Let us call that a stream. We're not necessarily done with this section, but you know, it's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. Okie doke. So I'm gonna ask all of you to politely stay in your grammar, and until next week. I haven't got the thing set up for next week, but I will.
Okay.
Next week, stream like usual.
Mm-hmm.
Week after that,
No.
Ireland.
Yeah.
There will be some sort of stream in Ireland. It's not going to be a regular live stream. It's not going to be like this live stream. There might be some guests and friends there, but we don't necessarily know when it's going to be.
Day or time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jewelry Hills, one and all.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.